go through a couple things on what I get to do and what our company does at Attaboy to prepare for consultations. Now, you may hear me say consultation is the first thing. We previously used to call it meet and greets. Very standard in our industry. The concept of meeting and greeting and the basically the client interviewing us to see if they wanted to use our services. We actually switched that a few years ago to align with many boarding and kennel facilities that they call it a consultation and behavior assessment, because that's what we're really doing. We're giving a consultation on their services and the ones they're interested in. We check the home for safety and sanitation, and then we're doing a true behavior assessment on the pets while we're there, mostly for our dog pets, but also for our cats and other pets as well. This is to change the mindset of the client so they understand that this is not for them. This is actually for us to make sure it is safe, happy, and healthy and we can successfully do the services that they are requesting. Now, another question is, do we charge for them? We didn't for years. Like for 8 years, we didn't charge for consultations. We just ate it. Usually it was because I was doing it anyways, so I wasn't just paying myself to do it. But we have staff now that usually do these, and we have to pay them legally by law. A lot of people with independent contractors used to have them go out for free as well. We did that but that was their choice. They made a choice to go out there so they could assess the client as well. We now have employees, so we do charge them. And we charge the clients the same price per minute as our regular services. One, for them to get used to that number and pricing. Two, that's what usually it costs us. So we charge them for a half-hour visit, and we have them pre-fill out on their online account to keep it to a half hour, because if they don't, we say, well, then we can charge you for anything that goes over half an hour, and we don't want to do that, right? Because we want to keep their budget lower as well for these initial onboarding process. We also always bring some type of goodie. We've tried a variety of things in the past. We've done human-based things, we've done animal-based things, we've done Girl Scout cookies, we've done cookies from like a local shop or Subway, just something to bring in. I know some companies bring like coffees or drinks. I try to avoid that for allergy purposes, but you could do that with cookies too. You could be allergy or gluten-free and you wouldn't know the human, but it's the thought that counts. We usually just stick with a pet treat. So if I have cats, they're getting these little mini churros. And then if we have dogs, so we have a local pet store that we buy a variety of different treats from. We try to stick it similar. These are a bit different. We try to stick, I don't have them with me. We try to have like freeze-dried straight meat. So freeze-dried salmon, freeze-dried chicken, freeze-dried beef, to eliminate the issues with dietary allergies and us having to check if this pet has a certain allergy prior to going in. We do ask those questions, but it just keeps our stock easier to maintain and stream if we just have very basic ingredients. So if they have a chicken allergy, I know I can give them salmon. If they have a beef allergy, which isn't common, I can give them chicken or salmon. But same with the churros, I try to have the chicken and the fish flavor. If there's a cat that has a chicken allergy, also not as common. The chicken allergies are more with dogs. But we love the churros, especially if there's multi-cat households. There's plenty for everyone. And then our treat baggies, we tend to put 2 to 4 treats depending on what treats they are. And you can see we have our Attaboy stickers, which we have a series of them, so it just kind of depends what we have in stock. We shove them there. We get these Mylar bags from store. These are great because it avoids contamination. They don't go bad as quickly because it holds in and retains. You could throw in one of those silicone like things that you have to keep the foods not rotting as much as possible as well, but we go through these quick enough that we don't need to worry about that. These cost us on average about 50 cents to $1 a piece, depending on what season and what we're putting in them. We do them based off of as well. When we do the freeze dried, we know those can be, well, I would call unisex, but for cats or dogs, Unipet. So they're also great for neutrality to keep in stash as well. So that's why I really love the freeze dried treats, but these were some things that we just had on stash already, so I brought those. And as you can see, of course, we did the Attaboy colors. So prior to me entering the home, I'm usually on my phone looking at their account. I want to memorize the pets' names, I want to memorize the humans' names, and I want to walk in, and we always do first name basis. This is to avoid this hierarchy concern that we previously have had in the years, where there's like a subservient attitude sometimes to clientele. We are equals and we are professionals, and we treat ourselves that way. The only other time I would maybe do a Miss or Mrs. or Mr. whatever is also to avoid people's pronoun situations, just go straight with the human name. You don't have to worry about that. I may use Miss, Mr., Mrs. if they correct me. It's usually a super elder person. And then usually I'll do a Miss with their first name. So Miss Amber, Miss Sarah, Mr. Bob. I 100% avoid last names at all costs. Also, last names are a lot harder to pronounce usually, so I can avoid messing those up by using first name basis. People become more friendly. The next thing I do is I make sure I have an understanding of the general idea where everything's located and what their food is and their approximate birthdays, so how old they are. So I seem professional and I've done my job, that I know their pets prior to going in their house. Once I'm ready to leave, get into the house, I have my attire on, obviously my shirt, pants, closed-toed shoes, look professional, slightly elevated than your average pet sitting wear. I tend to choose to do my hair a little bit nicer, makeup a little bit nicer before going in. I then make sure and make an obvious point to, if they have a mat before their house entrance, to wipe my feet. I don't say anything, but I make it like almost exaggerated method to walk into the house wiping my feet so they can see I care about their household. I then introduce myself to them and I say, hi, right away. My name's so-and-so from Attaboy. I'll be doing your process. I will be ignoring your pet initially. I want them to know that I'm not going to interact with their pet initially until their pet interacts with us. So when they start doing that process, I said, I want them to come up to me. I don't want to push boundaries. So I will be ignoring them, but I will interact with them at one point during our consultation. And then I tell them I'm going to have my phone out so they don't think I'm ignoring them or being inappropriately rude or anything like that, or distractible. So I'm going to have my phone out making notes. So please don't think I'm ignoring you. So I call out the potential concern. And then I direct them on what I want to do. I said, I want you to walk me through food, water, litter box, toys, hidey spots in the household. And then they start doing that. They may show you extra things, like the things you don't care about. They already heard notes about, like where their cleaners are, where this is at. I just let them do it, but I streamline the conversation. If there's anything I needed to clarify, like, hey, you mentioned a third cup food. Is that morning and evening? I want to make sure those notes are in there now. We then go during that time, if the pet approaches me, I then start doing a behavior assessment. What is that behavior assessment exactly? That is actually for mostly dogs. I want to watch their body language. So you need to do some type of training with body language first and foremost. And then if they're approaching me, I start touching them in spots to see how they do without putting my face in their face the whole time. So I'm touching their head, their ears, their mouth. I even try to lift their lips to see if they let me touch a tooth. I then rub their back. I touch a leg. I may get to a paw, obviously a back end / tail area. And then I want to see how they're doing during this whole time. At any point in time, if I see body language that says, don't touch me, I pause, I give them a break, or if they walk away, I don't continue to force the interaction. Cats, they may be hiding the whole time. That's perfectly fine. How we say that is, we don't need to be best friends with your kitties today, so I'm not going to push that boundary as long as I know that they'll be safe for the most part. We don't have many cats that have aggressive tendencies or like a bipolar tendency where they are really sweet one moment and then, I don't want to say bipolar, that's inappropriate, but like that's not an accurate statement. They change behavior very quickly. They go from very sweet to aggressive, territorial. So we want to make sure that we're watching their body language as well. But if they approach me, I want to make it a positive interaction by approaching only in the best spots for cats, which is usually right on top of the head, or letting them approach me and rub on me without me pushing into their boundary space. During that time, after we've completed the walkthrough of the house, I feel it's sanitary, I've touched the pets, I then go, what I want them to do is I want them to then have access to ask questions, the humans. So then I say, what we're going to do is all the humans are going to walk outside. And we're going to go a part of the house where there's no windows as much as possible, like in front of a garage to the side of the house. And I'm going to answer questions with you there. But then I'm going to walk back inside of the house without you there because I want to see right away how that pet does without you present, me entering the home. So this is a safety check to see if there's any fear-based aggression or territorial behaviors right away. If they typically go in a cage, we'll put them in a cage prior, and then I'll enter the home after I answer questions, which is usually about 3 to 5 minutes. I then make an exaggerated knock on door, shake the handle, make the beepy noises if there's a code, and then I enter the home. And then at that point, I'm also observing behavior. During that time, I'll try to take a photo of the pet if they're letting me. I'll do any quick walkthrough of the house to make sure I have a general idea. If they're going to be leash walked or harness walked, with a collar or harness, I'm going to put it on, see if they let me put it on and actually walk them outside with their owner once they let me, to make sure that we're okay on leash. This has severely decreased the amount of concerns that we've had in the past with pets that were great with the owners present, but not great when the owners are away, because they have an attachment issue that all their personality and their I lost my train of thought. Their confidence is attached to their pet owner. And so it gives us a little inkling of an idea. Now, there are times where we walk in, the dog's a hard no, will not let us walk in the house, will not let us enter the cage area, will not let us put on leash and collar. That gives us that yellow flag that we want to see potentially prior to us moving forward with a trial visit that we do later, or allowing to do visits in the future. So that's a little snippet on our consultation and behavior assessments. If you guys have any questions, let me know, but I gotta get going because I have about 2 minutes to relook at that report, make sure I understand everything, and walk into this client's house. Bye, guys.